Hello, Cougars fans. Here with head men's basketball coach Rob Kurzinsky after the 103-85 loss to Gwynedd Mercy. Coach, obviously never the result you want, but I feel like the guys played probably one of the best games I've seen in a loss.
We're getting better. We certainly, we hung in there. There were certainly moments throughout that game, even the first half, when you're challenged a little bit and you got to determine whether you're going to go forward and fight for it or you're going to kind of give in. So certainly we didn't do that. We put ourselves in position time and time again to kind of try to get over that hump. We got it down to 2 in that second half there late. We had 4 a couple times. But you're going to beat a team like that. They're 9-1 for a reason. They're extremely well coached. They've got very experienced guys that have been through it before. So your margin for error is really slim. And yes, we did a lot of good things. We did a lot of good things on the offensive end. For us to beat teams like that, if we're not going to make multiple threes, it's going to be really tough for us. And then we made 8, we made for 27, I think. Like we need to be much more efficient to get a higher volume of threes to beat teams like that. And we were pretty good in terms of valuing the ball. Like if you look at numbers wise, and I know we won the turnover battle, which is a thing we talk about nightly, but and I'll have to look at the film, but I'd be surprised if they didn't have a pretty decent advantage in points off turnovers. We had some costly ones, some live ball ones, some out in front that led to direct buckets, the pick 6. So that really hurt us. And then as much as we did do some good things offensively, we got to find a way, to create stops. And it's hard. I mean, they're good. Like, it's hard. And it's hard for a reason because they got very good players. But you got to find ways to get stops.
Now, the numbers obviously seem to be fairly even just on both sides. But what I noticed late in the game was Coach Barron from Gwynedd was talking to his point guard, and he was saying, it was the Cabrini game, which Gwynedd came back and one was down. Obviously, they've been in situations like this before and have delivered. What will it take for us to get to that point in some situations like that?
It's a great question. I mean, I think, one, you got to keep hammering away from our coaching standpoint. You got to show them the film. You got to get in there in meetings and you got to talk about that stuff. And then you got to try as best you can to simulate situations on the court and just, as best you can, put them through those simulated situations. But you got to do it out in it's real life TV, reality TV, so to speak. You got to be able to do it when the game's on the line. And like we talk about, though, it's not about the scoreboard. Like, you can't get caught up in that big picture thing and saying that, we got to come back from 18 days. No, there's small incremental things. It really is. It maybe sound like coach speak, but it's a process. So like in terms of, all right, for us, you got to look at, like, for us to have come back tonight when we had opportunities, our decision making was not very good on the offensive end. Although we were pretty efficient, if you just look at the overall numbers, we took some bad shots, very inefficient shots in some of those times when we could have either put ourselves, a point behind, tied, or maybe even put us over the hump. And then we had some of those, even though we were only limited to 12 turnovers, we had some of those turnovers in those times. So it comes down to then, okay, what are the things that we can control? Like, why did that turnover happen? Was it poor execution? Was it poor communication? So you just go back to finding those small things that you can control. If you can control the controllables and just take care, for instance, take care of the ball, or on that defensive end, if you get the right confrontation, close out, and you got the right coverage there. It's just those small things that you got to control and you got to take care of. That whole Patriots model. You just got to do your job in those situations. When the heat's turned up and it gets a little bit more panicky, or you feel a little bit more anxiety, you just got to be able to you focus and you got to do your job. So it's not like a big picture thing. It's small things. And I think that's, again, too much, so I watch the film, but I really think that's what I'll see when I look at the film. Like, they were controllable things that we could have done better at, that we'll need to do better at if we're going to win those type of games.
Now, obviously, you got a little rest off, and then you go up against Stevens before the end of the year, and then you come back into the heat of conference play against Rowan. Just talk about, those two.
Yeah, it's a good time of the year. These guys are a little beat up, and holidays coming up, and it's good for them to go see family and friends and get away and try to rest up and get a little bit healthy. So we'll have 3 days off. We'll get back on the 26th, and we'll get back to work. Stevens is very good. They're another good team. They shoot it. They got some size inside. Their guards play off the bounce pretty good, and they got guys that can spread you out and make threes. And they're well coached. They're going to be well prepared in terms of their scout for us. So we're going to have to just get a little bit better over these next 3 days. Cut down on some of our mistakes. I got to do a better job in preparation for it. So we'll just take it one day at a time, get ready for Stevens, and then then the fun begins, because the bottom line is it's about the NJAC. So you play tough competition, you play some different styles, you get some different looks in the non-conference. So hopefully to prepare you, to compete in the NJAC. And every night the NJAC is going to be a war.
All right, good luck, Coach. Merry Christmas. And that is head coach Rob Kurzinsky after the 103-85 loss to Gwynedd Mercy.
Thanks.